Hi guys, Henry here from IFE. So today I want to go over a bit of the horror stories in what I've come across of professional clients of mine and what for you guys to look out for and hopefully not make the same mistakes that they have. So I'll give you a few examples of what they are and how they've come across them. So one I had is he had a £220,000 pension. He was living in Saudi Arabia. It was a BAE final salary pension. Again, he says to me in hindsight he wished he never transferred it out. We came across it when the value of it was £80,000. It lost a significant amount, and it had been 50% invested in a fund, LM fund. Now this is a fund that was basically investing in kind of car parking spaces in Glasgow, and it went bankrupt. Why someone would invest 50% of someone's pension portfolio in a kind of risky element is beyond me, especially when it was a quite significant amount of his overall earnings. Just watch that. Obviously the answer to that was commission. It was obviously paying a high commission. So just watch out for that. So if anyone's looking to invest in high risky retail businesses or anything like that, make sure there's a reason for it and it's in proper allocation of your portfolio. I'll put a link for that below of how much you should have in, for example, international properties and alternatives, etc. And if they are, make sure it's trusted, it's regulated, and it's Morningstar rated. So for example, it's fine going into a REIT portfolio, but make sure it's regulated, it's got a history, and there's reasoning behind that. Another one was going into, the person lost £89,000 of his pension. Again, he was an aircraft engineer, worked in Singapore, and it was just put into a discretionary fund where the fund manager ran off with all the money. I think it's getting looked into, and hopefully can liquidate some of that and you can get some compensation, but obviously it's a timely process. Again, if it's not going entirely Morningstar rated, especially if it's just all the portfolios going into a discretionary fund management, make sure it's highly rated. It's got a track record of fund manager. Also make sure it's done for your specific needs as well, because a lot of advisors will just put it in there because it's not too much management. They may get a bit of trail for it, and also they may get a bit of extra for putting you in it on top of the upfront fees. So make sure it's been tailored towards you. I'd make sure as a client, making sure you're making the financial advisor work, asking them questions like, why is it being put in there? How is the Morningstar rating? What's the track record of this? How do my overall portfolio work for this pension? As it's already holding pension, as it's already holding property, or something along those lines. Just keep asking kind of probing questions. Can be put in at a clean price to make sure your money is working for you. Another one, again, I've had a client that lost around quite significant some money, around £2 million in the property fund as well. It went collapsed, obviously. Again, the same rules apply there, is watch out for that. The other one to watch out for is looking into the long-term contracts. Now, I've seen a lot of clients being put into 20-25 year regs where they're putting a vast majority of their portfolio into of their disposable income, into these saving plans on the basis they look good and they do have benefits. Benefits are they use dollar cost averaging, they use compound interest, and for some people they're very applicable. I've had clients that just want to put into a pension. I had a client recently, he's Dutch, he's moved from Holland to Cyprus. He just wants to put into a pension the same amount, so low amount, 4-5%, that's for him it equates to around €300, into his into his pension, not have to think about it. So it can have a use for that. Yes, they are high fees and whatnot, but again, if people just want for an education planning purpose or for just a pension purposes, they do have their uses. But a lot of times gets took out for too long period. What can you do if you want one of these? I've got one personally. Is make sure the lower term, so 10, 15-year contracts, they've got a larger proportion than the 20, 25-year contracts. And also make sure they're invested properly like before. Make sure it doesn't have to be rocket science if you're using dollar cost averaging and compound interest. You could just go into the S&P index. History tells us that has a 8.64% average. It doesn't need to be into bonds, a bit in here and managed fully like that. It can just be very simple portfolio structure if you're using that as well. So the one sign is make sure that you're going into a contract that's a term for you, and also if you're going into a lump sum, make sure it's been specifically for you. Thanks guys, hope you found this useful.